Hello, it's Ian. Ian's POV here. Oh, well, isn't it eventful? I've done my piece on what Starmer said yesterday. Now we're going to look at what Olly Robbins said this morning. Now, Olly Robbins was the permanent secretary, the leading civil servant in the Foreign Office. Now, as far as I can make out, he took his post up after the Mandelson vetting had been done. He was brought in to clean up the pieces. He said, and these are only little snippets, little highlights. Remember what Starmer said yesterday, that nobody told him. He didn't know. It was everybody else's fault. Right? Olly Robinson said that number 10 was leaking information to The Guardian. You know, you can't make this up. He said the Mandelson vetting process brought up no red flags regarding Epstein links. Now, he also said that number 10 couldn't see why Mandelson needed to be vetted. There was no need to vet Mandelson, he said. Interesting, isn't it? I think he's just thrown Starmer under the bus. Right. He said he gave number 10, may have been given to the Prime Minister. I didn't quite hear it right. But he gave a report to number 10 on the risks of Mandelson being the ambassador to the United States. I think that's enough. I think that says it all. Why was the guy sacked for doing his job? See, number 10, there was reports 2 weeks ago that Olly Robinson couldn't let Starmer have the report because of the Civil Service Code. Nothing was said about that. I didn't hear it anyway, well, the time I was listening to it. And the question is, what was the Prime Minister asking for? What due diligence did the Prime Minister do? Olly Robbins said the decision to make Mandelson the ambassador to America was already decided. It was a question, he said, of when, not whether. So, number 10, this would have been the Foreign Secretary, which is David Lammy, and the Prime Minister and other senior government ministers, I would think, would have been involved, plus number 10 staff, have agreed that Mandelson should get the job. They then tried to squash the idea of him being vetted, because things might come up they don't want to hear. Now, I think Olly Robbins was truthful. He was honest. He said he was doing the best that he could. But if you've got number 10 then briefing against him and then sacking him for him doing his job, what happens if he decides to take them to court? He's in for a big payout. Unfair dismissal, I would think. Very likely. Because I can't see that he did anything wrong. He was just doing his job. In the civil service, when you're in the department, you've got procedures to follow. As long as you follow those procedures. And when you've got a file, all the things that you do, the conversation. If you have a phone conversation, you make what's called a minute. It used to be an A5 piece of paper when I started. By the time I left 6 years later, it was all printed on A4 paper, which meant the paper that we used was doubled. So you write a minute explaining what you did. Oh, I had a phone call and they're not happy and they want more information, or yeah, they agree with it and it's not a problem. So there must have been notes made. Because he's a civil servant, this is what they do. They also might, now it's only my speculation now, they might have had a little chat on the quiet with no notes made. Did David Lammy have a chat with him, with Olly Robinson, about Mandelson? Did Starmer have a chat with David Lammy, who had a chat with the civil service? So that there was nothing written down, there was no evidence that it was ever spoken. David Mandelson, he's Peter Mandelson, he's the man for the job. Well, we've already decided we want him. Let's get it, just push it through. Olly Robinson said that Number said, just fucking get it done. Or words to that effect. Language, Timothy, I was thinking. But on a report this afternoon that I read, they did the same thing and they bleeped it. So, yeah. I think Starmer is in trouble. I think David Lammy is in trouble. David Lammy was the Foreign Secretary at the time. I think they both are going to go. I think the handling of this has been absolutely atrocious. And what's unforgivable is Starmer blaming everybody else but him. He is the Prime Minister. That's where the buck stops. He was asked a question about 2 months ago about this. Kemi asked him outright at Prime Minister question time, were you told about Mandelson? Did you see the report? And he said yes, because he had to. Because he'd already lied and said he hadn't seen it. Now he's saying he hadn't seen it because nobody told him. Now there's a difference. Now, he was saying that he hadn't had the report. Now he's saying that nobody has told him. That means he might have been given the report and didn't do anything about it. Subtle change in words. He's a politician, isn't he? He's a lawyer. I don't think he's a very good one. I wouldn't have him as my lawyer, I tell you. Now, what happens now? Starmer is not going to go. Starmer is going to stay there and stick it out. And he's got the backbenchers backing him up. Yesterday, a bit when I didn't watch it, I only watched a bit. Lee Anderson got thrown out of Parliament for calling Starmer a liar, which was correct. But you're not allowed to call him a liar in Parliament. And Sultana, the ex-Labour MP, now in with the other party, can't remember what it's called. Oh, yeah, your party or something it's called, isn't it? Santana said that Starmer was a liar. She said it as well. She got suspended from the Commons. So that's 2 thrown out for telling the truth, for non-parliamentary language. But they got the press, which is what they want. Lee Anderson got the press for being thrown out, for calling him a liar, when we all agree with him. He knew he wasn't going to get the answer from Starmer that he wanted. So he hit the nail on the head. Called him a liar outright. Speaker didn't like it and asked him, we don't use that sort of language here. Do you want to change it? He said, no, he's a bloody liar. And he was out. He was out the door. But, and I sat back and I'm thinking, we vote for MPs to run the country. The more MPs a party's got, the more that their leader gets into number 10. That's the basic principle, isn't it? It's democracy at work. Our parliament is the mother of all democracies. And I'm sat there and I'm hearing all these MPs, and they're all reading scripts. The only 2 people who did not read scripts, believe it or not, who I agree with, they'll turn up for the book, was Lee Anderson and Diane Abbott. Diane Abbott was brilliant. She knocked the nail on it as well. She just asked the Prime Minister, why didn't you ask the questions? She said that Mandelson has history. He's had to resign twice before. And why didn't the Prime Minister ask the questions? All the Conservatives cheered. They agreed with it. Hello. Now, we don't know what's going to happen now. Starmer is still in position. It's like nothing but a direct hit from a Zeppelin raid would ever move him. He's got 400 MPs. If it was a close, if he had a, what they call a hung parliament, then I think he would have resigned. But because he's got so many MPs behind him, he doesn't have to resign. However bad he is, he doesn't have to resign. It's up to Kemi and to Farage and Davey, Liberal Democrats, and the Scots and the Northern Irish MPs to keep the pressure on, to make Starmer resign. It's the only way this is going to happen. And of course, you've got the press as well. All the commentators have said Starmer's got to go. He's dead man walking. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. But this country is the laughing stock of the world at the moment, under Starmer. Our standing in the world is a joke. I watched American talk show, chat shows, podcasters. They all think Starmer's a joke. Australian Sky Television is also having a go at Starmer. They think he's a clown. Our standing in the world is gone. It's non-existent. Starmer should resign. Starmer should call an election to allow the people to decide. Now we know what the Labour Party's like, because we never knew they were going to be like this when they voted for them. I didn't vote Labour. I voted Reform. The Conservatives lost the last election because the Conservative vote did not come out. At my own constituency, see here, the Conservatives lost 5,000 votes. And people switched to Labour. Liberal Democrats switched to Labour to get the Labour candidate in. So it was tactical voting, and Labour won. And everybody's saying, have you seen our MP? What's our MP doing? I went through it. I did a video, didn't I? Where's my MP? I don't think he had an office for 6 months in London. I don't even know if he had a secretary. Anyway, my view is Starmer should call an election and let us decide. Let the people decide who we want to govern. And then I'll be voting Reform, I tell you. In my constituency here, I think the Reform candidate is the best one. Anyway, this is Ian. Ian's POV, signing off. Bye-bye for now.